Okay, great. It's 5 p.m. and time for the May 7th, 2024 regular scheduled Niagara Parish School Board Committee as a whole meeting. Board members and visitors, please silence your cell phones and all electronic devices. That's not to interrupt the meeting. Thanks for your cooperation. Board members, we've had some issues in the past couple of meetings about not speaking loudly and the microphone not picking up. Please, whenever you speak loud enough to where the microphone can pick you up. While we're in this temporary setting, we need to adapt. In the words of Ms. Reva Phelps, at the end of May, it's going to be good to have separation from you guys. May 2nd, we started with the board retreat. May 8th, we have the Family and Community Summit tomorrow at MLK, starting at 5:30. The Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week is this week, and Ms. Barbie Page is going to catch us up on some of those activities in just a minute. We have our committee meeting today, the 7th. We have our board meeting on the 14th. We have the cell phone policy committee meeting on the 9th. We have the NPTCC graduation May 15th at 6 p.m. at A. Fredericks Auditorium. Lakeview, May 17th at 6 p.m. at the A. Fredericks Auditorium.
It's actually at 7 p.m., isn't it?
It's moved?
Yeah, at 7 p.m.
Okay. 7 p.m. Good to make that note. We will be early if we get to 6. All right, good deal. Niagara Central, the 17th, graduation at Prather Coliseum, 7 p.m. May 23rd, the Niagara Parish School Board retirees of 2024, 472 years of combined service are retiring. May 21st, we're going to have the Weaver Town Hall meeting at 5:30. May 23rd, the Lakeview meet and greet Town Hall at 6 p.m. Is that moved? 6 p.m. still? I think they're going to introduce or push Mr. Chase Step out in front of the crowd. On May 24th, Niagara Central Town Hall at 5 p.m. May 15th, board members, your Tier 3 financial statement is due to the state of Louisiana. If you forget it and do not turn it in by May 15th, they will happily remind you with a $50 fine per day that you're late. So let's get that going. Have I missed any dates or times?
May the jam-packed.
We are busy. Every day we will be either in this room or another room. Ms. Page, can
Yes,
you
sir.
catch us up on the teacher and staff appreciation activity?
I can catch you up on a little bit of it. I'd like to give special thanks and recognition to Raising Cane's and Walmart. They have generously supporting and providing some meals, lemonade, and gift bags to all of our schools and teachers. Obviously, their kindness and thoughtfulness is highly appreciated. They're also holding a raffle for teachers that is including an all-in-paid vacation. So teachers who are listening or teachers who are not listening, go to their website or go to their Facebook and make sure that you enter that raffle. Can you hear me?
No, sorry.
I'm wondering if retired teachers can enter, but anyways. Anyways, I know there are many businesses that are contributing to the teachers, and these gestures are highly appreciated. They go a long way in boosting morale and reinforcing our passion for teaching. We are truly grateful to everybody and their commitment to supporting education. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Board members, before we break into the agenda, I just want to thank all of you for cooperation that you've shown, especially last week with the retreat. All the information that was pushed out, and we've got a busy May and summer getting ready for the upcoming school year and closing down this school year. And with that said, Superintendent Elon.
Call the meeting to order, please.
Oh, thank you. I just mentioned that. We don't want to forget that. Ms. Rupp.
Mr. Danzy.
Here.
Mr. Matuire.
Here.
Mr. Benefield.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Mrs. McGaskey. Here. Ms. Palmer. Ms. Phelps.
Here.
Ms. Harvey,
Here.
Mr. Fradu,
Here.
Mr. Nicholson,
Here.
and Ms. Page.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Can we proceed now?
Yes, sir.
It's nice to see a full boardroom and a full boardroom of, it looks like no one's mad at us right now, so,
That could change.
it's always nice, and I think we've been talking, we want to make sure this happens more often, during the school year, to bring more student groups, more teachers, et cetera, and for us to get a little more consistent with that. But we'll start off with all our student groups, and then I have some information to wrap up. The first person I want to bring up is our amazing, our wonderful science specialist, Miss Jessie Church. She's going to inform us about some information about summer school, which I'm sure no one over there is going to be joining us for summer school, but unless y'all just want to.
Trying to share screen, but maybe
Oh.
whoever's on there might need to not share screen.
You should be able to kick them
Oh,
off.
let's see. No.
There you go.
Okay. So, just some logistical things that we have. There are 8 summer school locations. Summer school now is from 2nd grade to 12th grade. There it shows our school listings of where everyone will be. Fairview will house Fairview, Goldana, and Lakeview students up till 8th grade. Any other students that are from Goldana, no, that's it. Lakeview high school students will go to Lakeview. So Lakeview will only be a center for high school. The middle school students will be at Fairview. I've listed your site coordinators there. You'll notice some schools only have one, or some schools have multiple coordinators, and that's due to the numbers of students and teachers that will be present on those sites. Okay. This is the general information for you. It's going to start on June 3rd for students, and it ends June 27th. Summer school will run from Monday to Thursday with no summer school on Fridays. June 17th is a holiday for students for Juneteenth. Students' expected time should be 8 to 12:45. Teachers are expected to be there from 7:15 to 1:15 because they'll be accepting students that come in on buses. Teachers, coordinators are a little bit longer, 7 to 1:30, and we also tell coordinators it's till the last student heads home as well. So meals will be served for breakfast and lunch, and bus transportation is provided using drop-off locations. And so everyone will have an opportunity to get to their location. Who attends summer school? There are 3 reasons that you'll attend summer school. One is attendance deficit. So if you're missing days or you have missed too many days, you're going to try to make them up there. But schools have been really putting this into play within the school year as well, trying to make up attendance ahead of time to kind of cut the numbers of students attending there. Students can also attend summer school for academic deficit in math and ELA for grades 2 and 8. And then the high school level, it's academic deficit for those areas that are Algebra 1, Geometry, English 1, English 2, Biology, U.S. History, and then if there's just course credit that needs to be made up, those kids will be enrolled in Edgenuity. So if there's a course they just need to make up, it's not one of those core ones. A third reason students go to summer school is because our 3rd and 4th graders are held to the state law of Bulletin 1566, which is that law for literacy. If those students do not meet that requirement, then they will need to go to summer school for 3rd and 4th grade. So those are our reasons for summer school. How many people are involved in summer school this summer? We have 13 site coordinators with about 79 teachers. We have 9 DES or SPED teachers right now, and that number could change depending on enrollment. We won't have actual student enrollment numbers until May 15th. We also have 1 SPED or DES para right now, but that could increase as well if those numbers increase. So we're looking at approximately 1,400 students, which puts about 15 to 18 students in a class, which we didn't hit that number last year, but that's what we're expecting. This is just what the day looks like. They will have time for ELA, they will have a recess, they will have time for math, they'll have lunch, they'll have a dismissal. And so prior to the 8 o'clock start time, they'll have the opportunity for breakfast. Okay? Most of the courses are departmentalized, so the same teacher teaches math all to both grades. Attendance policy for summer school, students are only allowed to miss 2 unexcused absences. So if they get a third, they will be asked to leave the summer school program. It's not very long, and teacher, we need to get there and get to the meat of it. If they have doctor's excuses, then they will be allowed to remain. So, we are using high quality curriculum for ELA and math, and that has already been distributed to site coordinators. All the teachers have the placements, and so they also have access currently in May to those resources to prepare. So that's where we are. Does anybody have questions about summer school?
Very succinct.
All right, good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I know that was, summer school is always riveting, but now we're going to move to ladies basketball. I think everyone this year has become a women's basketball aficionado because of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and South Carolina and all that stuff. But I already was a huge fan because of the Natchitoches Central girls basketball team, and they're not laughing. They're just being serious over there. But Coach Nikki Jones, if she can join us with her staff and maybe tell us a little bit about their season. I think, Coach, we made it to quarters this year?
No.
I got that wrong?
A little bit.
A little bit? Right before quarters? What's that? What do they call that?
Second round.
Second round. Second round, much further than I ever made it in any athletic event, so it's still good stuff. But Coach, tell us a little bit about your team and y'all's season and all that fun stuff.
Well, first I want to say we have a great group of girls, very hardworking. Besides just in basketball, well, let me talk about basketball first. We did have a real good season. We came up a little short in the second round. Should have won it, but sometimes it falls like that. But they're a great group of girls, and watching them grow through the years, it's great watching them. But also they're great student athletes. If you look at them, besides all the practice times we spend, and we beat a horse a lot of times, all the away games we have, a lot of them are great students. We have student of the years, we have homecoming courts, we have prom courts, homecoming queens. I mean, we are very great student athletes, so it's not just about basketball. This is a great group of kids, so I'm glad to be a part of them, and I hope they continue. But it's a great year.
So how many of these young ladies are going to be crossing the stage next week at Prather?
4.
4.
Four of them, all of them going to college. All of them on scholarships, no matter if it's academic scholarships, sports scholarships. I mean, I'm very proud of my senior class. And if you knew them when they came in as freshmen, they grew tremendously, and they was a huge part of our success.
Well, Coach, I think it's high school athletics obviously are about athletics, but it's about so much more. And for you to be able to say they're all going to college, they're in all these other extracurriculars, I mean, that's just speaks to y'all's quality as a staff, and also obviously the quality of these young ladies and their parents. So congratulations on a great program, great team, and good luck next year, and good luck to y'all. Thank y'all so much. So, y'all want to get a picture real quick with Mr. Shanahan?
Okay.
Ladies, could you all come right here? I hope y'all are louder on the court.
There you go. Ain't nobody can see you.
Look for it first. Thank you, ladies. Well, we don't just succeed academically and athletically at Natchitoches Central. We also like to fish. So, Mr. Ryan Shirley, by day, he's fixing all the maintenance issues around the parish, but by night and by weekend, He's leading the national championship Natchitoches Central fishing squad. As they are, what do you call it, ripping lips? Is that what we call it? Is that right? Ripping lips. There we go. See, I know a little something.
A lot of people don't even understand that we have a fishing program in the parish of Natchitoches. They don't understand how big fishing is at the collegiate level. They actually provide scholarships to these young folks. These ladies and gentlemen right here, every one of them here is qualified to fish the state tournament, which is on May the 18th and 19th. We have one of these teams, which is Lance and Hunter, have actually qualified to go fish the World Nationals in Anderson, South Carolina in June, amongst about 500 other teams to see what we have. We have a few teams that's actually coming from Zimbabwe, Africa, all the way from Europe and different places. So people don't understand how big of a sport this is in high schools because it's really not a sanctioned sport. Everything they do is high school based, but it's all funded by parents and by donors and everything else. It's actually not a sanctioned sport, but it is a big upcoming sport, and we're proud of them, and they've done a great job.
So, quick question. What's the biggest fish we caught this year?
Six- 683? 683.
Oh, I've caught one that was 684. No big deal.
I think right now we have about 140 teams.
Yeah, but he caught it at Long John Silver's.
Yeah. Well, we have about 140 teams in our league, and these two, you have to place them within the top 50 to qualify for the state. You had to place within the top 5 to qualify for nationals. So we have one top 5 qualifying team. We have all the rest of them are in the 20s. So out of 140 teams, we got some pretty good fishermen.
What middle schools did y'all come from? Provençal?
Hey!
4 of them did. We have the old magnet guy down there.
Y'all gonna keep them?
Yeah, we're gonna keep him just for a little while. But yeah, his partner wasn't able to be here with us, so he's one of the other ones that qualified with us. So.
Well, y'all wanna get a picture?
Sure they do. Yeah, get over here and get your picture.
Basketball ladies, y'all wanna join? No? Y'all on the fishing?
Come on, y'all come up here and fish. We don't mind. You wouldn't believe how many lady fishermen that we actually have in this club.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, the next person we'd like to bring up, I routinely refer to him as the most positive person in Natchitoches Parish. So positive sometimes I got to walk away from him because I like to be mad sometimes. And that's Mr. Chase Stepp. He is taking over there at Lakeview High School and Junior High, and he's going to share maybe a brief synopsis, Reader's Digest version of his vision for where Lakeview's going to go under his leadership.
What's going on, everybody? I've got this reputation, I guess, of being the most positive guy. But one thing is for sure, I am beyond excited for this opportunity at Lakeview. When they announced that I was going to be the principal, I knew a few people from the Lakeview area. But out of the woodworks, I think everybody I've run into has a relative, has a child, has a great grandmother. Somebody is attached to the Campty area, and they've been nothing but welcoming for me. As far as my goals for Lakeview, I'm ready to just get out on the grounds. I'm ready to work with, I've already met our awesome school board members. I've met so many of the students, but I'm just really excited to get on the grounds this summer from day one. I'm looking forward to building the sports programs. We are going to hit hard in the classrooms. We're going to put Lakeview on the map as far as academics goes. And again, I'm very optimistic, so the whole way through, I'm pumping up Lakeview. And I'm going to be, now Dr. Eloy does like to give me a hard time regarding the cheerleading situation. My wife is a Northwestern cheerleader, but no pun intended, I am going to be Lakeview's biggest cheerleader, along with the awesome members that I've met along the way. So as far as the synopsis of what I'm going to be doing, we're going to get out there and make Lakeview great. So,
well, I apologize you had to stand next to those Natchitoches Central kids, but
y'all are awesome too. I'm proud of y'all. There's some awesome girls here. I've seen you come through. So thank you guys for this opportunity to speak to y'all. And if there's any questions, I'd love to meet up with anybody after or now, whatever you like. So thank y'all.
Thank you. There we go. There we go. That's the man to talk to, him and Coach Coleman. So speaking of the Colemans, I gotta make an apology, a public apology to Miss Karen Coleman. I went to, she's up next, and I went to, in, what was that, November? With y'all to celebrate their Blue Ribbon Award, but it totally escaped me that we had not brought her up to the board to celebrate the Blue Ribbon. So we obviously want to bring her up, but we want to that is literally the largest, the biggest, whatever you want to call it, honor you can get as a public school from the federal government. And I know we've done a lot of stuff on social media, but the fact that we have not had her at the district level to honor that is just a mistake of grave proportions, Ms. Coleman. And so we want you to come up here and just tell us what actually that means, what your experience was, and how big of an honor that is.
I know we're all busy and we have lots going on, but most of you individually have recognized this achievement for our school. So, but if you didn't have a chance to read about the National Blue Ribbon Award, it's awarded by the U.S. Department of Education, and I was notified through the Louisiana Department of Ed that our school qualified and was actually nominated. Our state nominated our school, and part of why we stood out to them was not just the achievements of my school, but the achievements of our district. You know, Natchez Parish is getting lots of recognition at the State Department for the academic achievements of our students. So I firmly believe that our school got this recognition because we are a part of Natchez Parish schools. But there's two ways to qualify for the award. You can be a high-performing school, or you can be a school that has closed an achievement gap for a certain group of students, and that's actually how we qualified. A lot of people think we qualified because we're high performing, but the most impressive piece is that we close achievement gaps for our learners that maybe aren't always high performing, because we have all kinds of learners at our school. So Dr. Eloy did join me for the ceremony.
First time I've flown in 15 years,
it was.
too.
I mean, this man
Had
has
take
real
anxiety
anxiety about flying, and he did it for the sake of our school and our district. And then my instructional specialist, Ms. Warner, joined us also. It was a very moving ceremony. It was, in my 24 years of education, I had never been a part of a ceremony that was so professional, and I just don't know that I've ever felt that proud to be an educator as I was there accepting that award. But I have to say, I didn't do the work. You're going to meet one of my teachers in a minute, but I hands down have a staff that is the best anywhere. And what they do for 300 of y'all's kids every day is remarkable. In fact, 4 or 5 of these came through the lab school, and so y'all helped us win this award because y'all set that foundation too. And you can see our students have a foundation in what they go on to do at the high school and how they represent our school and district at that level too. But like Dr. Eloy said, it is the highest award that an elementary school can be given in public education. So I hope that we represented you well. I appreciate y'all's support in everything that y'all provide for our school, with NIET and with TAP. I mean, without those supports in place, we can't grow teachers and grow students. And so, thank you.
So it was an amazing trip. The one thing I still have a question about is poor Molly Coleman didn't get taken, but her brother got to go. But we'll talk about that
She
after.
had to play ball. It was basketball season.
So the last recognition before I jump into the actual meat of the superintendent report, Dr. Brumley has done several new initiatives at the LDOE level to recognize not just teachers, but all sorts of levels of staff. But then even within the staff, it's like brand new teachers, early elementary teachers, and he's trying to elevate the profession. And he's created this new award called Exemplary Educators. And he sent it to us, and I told the teaching and learning staff, I said, we got to have someone who we can put up for this. And they immediately knew who they were going to do that for. And then immediately after that, they were like, we're not going to probably do this again, because I think it was 4 hours of a application of all the things about this person. Just kidding, we're going to do it again. But it was
Without them knowing.
without them knowing.
You can't tell them at all, so you need their full resume.
Yes. You gotta have all this information, but the whole idea is they can't know. And so I think if you're in Natchitoches Parish, you've heard the name. If you're at the lab school, you've definitely heard the name. There are very few teachers. Let me start over. There are people who I always hear like, oh, you're just worried about the data. And my response to that is, well, do you want a teacher who doesn't care about data? Because I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think really good teachers who care about their student data or in progress are also the same people who care about their social emotional health and care about them physically and care about, and will probably be at Natchitoches Central's graduation and watch them graduate 10 years later. And so this person exemplifies all those characteristics that you want that are just kind of generic qualities about a teacher. You want them to be kind, you want them to be caring and nurturing and all that, but they also exemplify some amazing characteristics of what it means to make sure students are growing. And so that person, and I'm sure she loves all this attention, I think she's usually a quiet person who likes to stay under the radar, is Miss Melissa Kaufman. And we would like Miss Coleman to come up as well, but she is now considered an exemplary educator. She's going to be honored at what we call Teacher Prom in New Orleans. But then also, this puts her up for several other awards. It's a pipeline for other awards that can be even as prestigious as this is. She is now in the pot for even higher, more prestigious awards with all sorts of fun stuff attached to them. So, Ms. Kaufman.
So, Ms. Hoffman doesn't like to be bragged on. She doesn't like the attention because she just wants to do what's right for kids. She just wants to grow kids. So, the one thing that I will say about Ms. Hoffman is, now she knows I trust her decisions greatly in the classroom. I give her lots of autonomy because she has a gift professionally of looking at curriculum, knowing what works, knowing what doesn't, knowing what they're going to need to know when she reads standards, and she knows how to make the pieces fit and how to coach kids. I've not seen many people have that gift, but she has it. So, our teachers get a band score through the state, and that score is a percentage, and it's how you grow kids for the year that they're in your care. And again, in my 24 years of education, I've never seen scores like she has, and what it tells me, what it boils down to is that she's the best fourth grade math and science teacher in the state of Louisiana. I mean, that's what she does. That's how much she grows kids, and it's every kid in her class. The struggling kids, the middle kids, the high kids, they are going to grow in her care. So I appreciate y'all for recognizing that in her and nominating her for this award. And
well, I'm not great at speaking for myself. I don't like that. So I will tell you, it's, and I'm probably going to cry. It's just who I am. But I am very grateful. I feel very undeserving, but I am very grateful. Like they said, it is something that I did not know about. I got the email, and I actually thought I was reading the email because she received an honor. And so I was getting ready to congratulate her. And it just really took me back. But I will tell you, it's not me. I do my job, but it's my kids. I do look at data, obviously, but I worry more about relationships and loving them. And I think that is where the payout comes, is that when they know you care. And I do. I love them all. I invest in them. I build relationships, and so it's them. It's not me. I'm standing here, but they should all be here. So I'm very proud of them, and I am very thankful to you for this. So thank you.
All right, well, that was all awesome. Now to the boring stuff. Just some things to wrap up with y'all. School food service appreciation we celebrated this week, or I'm sorry, Friday of last week. I apologize. But we can't do it without our school food service ladies. They feed us. They create relationships as well, and they're just, again, one of those groups that sometimes don't get a lot of the glory, but thank goodness they have a day that we can honor them. And I was happy to see all the schools sharing all the cool stuff about them last week, and the district as well. Teacher appreciation, I want to thank Ms. Barbie Page for all she's doing with that. Also, there's just a lot of stuff going on at schools. The big update right now is we now have 6 people who will be subbing in classes for the teacher drawing. So we want a special shout out to our board members who are doing that. Not to say other board members, but y'all also have jobs. They were able to work it out. So Mr. Fredu is going to be subbing, and so will Miss Reba. We also have several directors. Miss Dana Lacaz is going to be subbing, Miss Felicia Pinckney, and Miss Sarah Rachel, and then also myself. So total of 6 folks, and it's been so neat to watch that on social media, because it really has made people realize that, like, there's always this disconnect between the district and schools. And again, this is just a minor gesture, but I think it helps to show that we're willing to do some things that maybe others aren't. And the coolest thing I've seen is people say over and over, I've never seen this in any other parish. So I just think that's neat. Graduations, want to remind you of all those. Mr. Benefield already did. Today was also our last day for seniors. So that's a big deal, milestone for them. Very excited about that. Want to encourage board members and anyone in the audience. We are still in a very political season right now with the legislators, and all what they're doing in Baton Rouge, specifically the LA Gator Scholarship Program, which more commonly referred to as the educational savings accounts, which, for a lack of any other way of putting it, is taking public tax dollars and moving it towards non-public schools that don't have the same accountability that we have. So if you aren't educated on that, please just Google it, and you'll see why we believe it's problematic, especially as advocates of public schools. Also want to make you aware that in June, we will have a new accountability system in the state. And when I say new, it'll be completely new. And specifically, that's going to affect the high schools more than the elementaries. A very short version of what that's going to look like. Everything that used to count for 50% will now count as 25%, and the things that counted for 25% will now count as 75%. So it's kind of completely flipping accountability on its head. They're going to do, and by they I mean the Louisiana Department of Education, is going to run simulations Friday to show us what our 22-23 scores would look like under this new scale. And so that's something I can share with y'all via email to say, hey, this is how we did. We were an 81.5. We had A's up at these schools, and so on and so forth. And if you take that same data and apply it in the new scale or the new simulations, what would it look then? We're not super concerned about it. We feel like we've been preparing for this inevitability for a while, and thank goodness we have, because it is going to be somewhat of a shock to all systems. Testing is wrapping up. We have several schools that are done with LEAP testing, and then some who are just wrapping up. But for the most part, I believe after this week, for the most part, will be complete. And one final update. As you know, we passed some budget saving items, now I guess it's been 3 or 4 months ago. I'd like to just inform you how the practice and follow through has been going with those implementations. So far, we've had all but, I believe, 1 staffing meeting for all our schools where they have been, we've worked with them about their adjustments and how they're going to implement those adjustments, and basically everything I told you would happen has been able to happen. And by that I mean that certificated folks or certified folks would not lose any positions, and for the most part 90-95% of this would be able to be done through attrition and retirement. There is one issue I would like to bring up to you because of the sensitivity of the Goldana School and what we've been going through for the past 4 months. Which first I'd like to say congratulations to the Goldana community who passed their millage this past, actually done 2 weekends ago, but we haven't had a board meeting. The one thing I will tell you is I want to express to the board concerns about staffing of Goldana because in our staffing meeting today, one of the things that was told to us, which we kind of had an inkling of, is that currently 60% of their staff has either signed contracts with another school or is in the process of exiting the school. So I do want to make you aware of that because of all the things that have gone on for the past few months, we do have concerns about staffing that school with certified and, well, I'd say effective first, effective and or certified folks. I will keep you abreast of that for the next 3 board meetings, just so you're aware, but that is something somewhat unusual that I don't think we've experienced that percentage-wise of staff, but we do obviously believe it's probably out of possible fear because of what's gone on for the past few months. Other than that, I just...
So the 60% that you're talking about, they have accepted roles within this parish?
I believe either in this parish, some are attempting to find roles either in this parish or outside of the parish.
What is the student count looking like today versus what it was, say, 2 months ago?
The student count has maintained relatively around the same number. Since the original vote on the tax, they fluctuated, and now they're down in total. If you count pre-K and MFP, they're down 8 students, but still somewhat in line with, I think, where they started the school year, but down from, was that February we had the initial? Down from February. There's no way I did talk to the principal today about, and she has not heard from any parents who are wanting to pull students or anything like that, which is promising, but she did inform, she agreed based on J Campus that yes, there's an 8 student decrease from February.
That's something we need to monitor and keep in front of us too.
I assumed, based on y'all's kind of precedent last year, that y'all would be asking me for October 1 numbers, and I'm assuming y'all will probably be asking me for day 1 numbers, even though those are unofficial. So we'll have all that for y'all when those meetings do occur.
I think with the tax just passing and all the conversation that went on, this is kind of, it being so fresh, this is a normal thing.
Somewhat to be expected.
And with someone, they have the right to look for another job for their career, and we definitely understand that. But there are some that may be currently looking, once this settles in and this is where they want to be, they may quit looking. So,
yeah.
But definitely, I agree, it needs to be monitored. The numbers need to be monitored, and we know the people there know what has to be done to have that school.
Well, and because of the sensitivity, that's where I'm being extremely transparent with y'all. One, because it is, we typically don't deal with that type of number, although when I say numbers, it's percentage. Number-wise, it's not a big number actually to overcome. But I think I've talked to you, Mr. Brady, about the sensitivity of it, and in my role, I'm trying to be extremely transparent with y'all about all data, so that way y'all
it's appreciated.
Okay.
Well, that's the right thing to do too.
Okay. Well, that concludes my extremely long superintendent report for the month of May.
Okay. Before we move into the informational reports, Ms. Kanika has teacher staff appreciation cakes to be picked up tonight. And can we get a firm count on who's going where before we scatter and we don't end up with that? So Russ, you're taking problems?
I got problems.
Mike, you taking Martinsville? Chad, which?
I'll take Goldana.
Goldana, Chad will take Goldana. Mr. Gasky, do you have one that you'd like to select? East Naggers? Or East Naggers or junior high, which is?
He's mad.
East Naggers, okay. Ms. Reed?
Weaver.
Weaver? Oh, Ms. Weaver, Ms. Reed.
Ms. Weaver.
I need something in Natchez. What do we have left?
NJH, Mag, did anyone say Magnet?
No, not Mag.
I could do either or both.
Okay.
And then
You want
also
both, Ms. Page?
Whatever y'all need me to do.
the lab schools.
Okay, Ms. Harvey?
I can take middle lab, dropping off kids.
Okay, you got me there anyway. All right. Mr. McGuire?
I'm not gonna be able to.
You're not gonna be able to. Mr. Harris?
Lakeview.
Lakeview?
Fairview.
Okay. Ms. Rose, I'll work with you what's left.
Mr. Harris said Lakeview and
Fairview.
and Fairview. So that leaves NPTCC, Natchez Central, NSUE, and LP Bond, and then NBA. I have to pick that one up in the morning. It got left off of the, so I'll just drop it off if y'all are picking it up. I'll pick it up, I'll just run it by.
Be sure to take pictures. Board members, be sure to take pictures. Has to be there by 10 a.m.,
Natchez
correct?
Central. Now, LP Bond has 2 Ks that go. Okay, with that.
I can take care of you, Vaughn.
You'll take LP Bond.
Okay.
Has to be there by 10 a.m., correct?
I would like them to be delivered no later than 10 a.m.
Okay.
So that leaves NSUE and
I'll work with you
NPT.
what's left.
I do NPT.
I'm doing one of the
E-lab.
Ms. Harvey, did you sign on one?
Well, you already have one. I can take E-lab.
Okay. I'll take Natchez Central.
Party too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're all covered now.
Okay.
Just tell me what I'm doing. That's what I like to
We
hear.
might
Do I need to go back over it so you all know what you
Yeah,
went in for?
we might split.
Ms. McGaskey, East Natchez, Fairview, Mr. Harris, Goldana, Mr. Praду, Lakeview, Mr. Harris, Martha Jill, Mr. Nicholson, NPTCC, Ms. Palmer, Natchez Central, Ms. Phelps, NJH, Ms. Page, Magnet, Ms. Page, LP Bond, Ms. Palmer, NSUE, Dr. Eloy, NSUM, Mr. Nicholson, Provençal, Mr. Danzy, Weaver, Ms. Phelps.
Right. Okay, for some of you that double up, I'll take one of them off your hands. Sorry to disrupt the meeting, but I think.
One other thing, if you're taking it tonight, let me know so I can check it off, and I don't think somebody stole the cake, but they're in the room, in the building
Yeah,
here.
I'll take it.
If not, then just swing back by in the morning again.
I'll pick it.
Right. Okay, any more questions about the case? I know that's a tough situation, but we need to handle it. Okay. Ms. Gresham.
Hello, everyone. This is the federal programs report. We have received our 24-25 super app plan. It met all of the criteria. The board, it went through BSC on April 3 of 2024. We are receiving comprehensive literacy funding. We're going to utilize those funds for literacy interventionists at the following schools. I believe the advertisement is already out. It's for part-time and full-time positions. We will have one pre-K literacy interventionist at LP Bond. We're looking for one kindergarten literacy interventionist, a first grade and a second grade, all at LP Bond. And then we will have a third grade literacy interventionist at Weaver. And so tell all of your friends, your great
Retirees.
to work for. Yes, training will be provided. We also received funding for our desk department. Ms. Dana LaCasse manages that with some IDEA set-aside funds. We received some Title IV set-aside that's specifically earmarked for Lakeview. Beginning with you, Mr. Step. And then we received our redesign funding for the next academic school year. And these funds, I have to point out that we have been doing so well with our initiatives to produce higher academic
performances across the district of Natchitoches to where this is not as high as it's been in the past, because it's only for those schools who are in, that has a label, sort of critical needs. But we do utilize those funds for high-quality instructional materials. I work with the teaching and learning department. We've already have a rough budget of how we're going to expend those funds. So we are excited to have those again this year, but we're also looking forward to not having those as we continue to.
So, Ms. Rochelle, didn't we lose about 400,000 because we improved?
Yes.
Isn't that a bummer? You improve education?
Yeah.
Yes, and they take it immediately. There isn't a grace period, so, but we are putting initiatives in place in preparation of achieving that A status that we're working so hard, our teachers and students are working so hard towards. Esther Cliff is here. The last time period for Esther will end September 30th, 2024. And so I've been working with the business department. We've been working closely to make sure that we do not leave anything on the table. These are the amendments that I've done so far in regards to making sure that that money is spent. High quality curriculum, of course, because as we just said, we have schools who move out of that label status. Technology upgrades, description line items were adjusted for our HVAC and bathroom remodel. And basically what happens there is anytime you see that a bid was approved, then it has to go to another step of every line item given a description of how we're going to spend those funds. And then of course we get the pleasure of being audited, which we're going through that process now. So it's all fun. Description items, like I said, were revised. Obligations were submitted to the Louisiana Department of Education to reflect our anticipation to expend all funds by the end of the grant period, and that was due on April 30th. We submitted that well before time, and like all other districts, we submitted that we are projecting to spend all of our funds. And so that's where we are with federal programs, trying to close out one fiscal year and open another fiscal year within the same time frames. Any questions, comments? All right, thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Rochelle. All right.
Good evening again.
Fishing report?
No, I'm done with fishing for
Forecast.
now we're on roofing. We've had a lot of rain here lately, and we've discovered a lot more roof leaks, and we've been working on them as we get to them. Some of them are major, some of them are minor. Got a few construction projects going on. The one across the parking lot is actually looking a little ahead of schedule, which is nice. The freezer project she just had up, it's actually, we got all the freezers out today, so we're moving along pretty good with that one. We're ahead of schedule on that. Natchitoches Central batting cages are finished. They have the new retractable batting cages there. It's a nice addition. I have been meeting with some principals to try to get a wish list for the summer for painting and different things that need to be done, floors, so forth and so on. I've also scheduled some with them to discuss some upcoming projects that we're looking to do in different areas, but it's been a busy month, really busy month. Anybody have any questions?
Will we schedule for batting cages too?
I actually have the netting. The metal is already there. We have to secure some either some rubber matting or some turf if we can find some spare turf somewhere.
Yeah, I think we got some turf laying around.
Yeah. So if we can,
I think we need to sit down and have a good long talk about that. What's there, I think we can do a lot better on, and there's nothing at softball.
yes,
You know,
correct. I've already talked with Coach Step,
right.
and we're going to get you two gentlemen together here in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to sit down and have us a discussion about the baseball and softball. We've given football some love, we've given basketball some love, now it's time to start looking at some future projects on those. We actually have
The lighting.
the actual field lighting, the parking lot lighting, all that. Yeah, but I've already got the quotes on the parking lot lighting. Me and Lee had already discussed this, and that's, July the 1st, pull the trigger, once everything situates, and we get back to a little newer round of funds. So we're hoping to have y'all a little stuff going on out there for that baseball and softball. We got a lot of work to do.
Mr. Shirley,
Mhm.
in the front of the central office, there's an area that's gated off or fenced off. What is that?
That's gonna be our swimming pool. We'll have the lounge chairs to the east.
That's perfect. Well, when I
That
saw
way
the
you get that
fencing,
west sun.
when I saw the fencing go up, I thought maybe we were doing it all the way.
It's
across
actually
the front.
drainage. Is what it is. It is a retention pond is actually what it is.
It looks
But we're gonna call
awful.
it-
Do we have to keep that?
We're calling it our swimming pool. No heated sun.
Is it gonna be filled up, or it's gonna stay like that?
That'll be grass.
It'd be grass, but it's for the water runoff to catch and get away, so we don't flood.
And I saw something pertaining to the, some doors, being fixed at LP Bond.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
gonna be finished by the time school starts?
The ones that we're working on are completed.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Everything that we've had for us, the doors and the locks have been completed at LP Bond.
Okay,
We have some kick plates left to put on. We're gonna put some stainless steel kick plates in the hallways where they run over it with their carts and different things. But those are on order and they're on back order. But that, I mean, that's a 5-minute job once you get them. Just to try to keep the, the paint chips at the bottom when they bump into them, keep them having to paint them every 60 days. We're just gonna put some stainless steel kick plates there to avoid that, to absorb a little bit of that kicking as they go through the door and the cart sitting and different things. But yeah, the actual doors are operating fine.
okay. And I know we had some discussion about leaks at the junior high school.
Yes, ma'am.
Ongoing.
They're ongoing, and every time we fix one spot, we find another one that hits.
So does this need to be a
Yeah.
situation where we replace the roof instead of just keep fixing leaks?
We can't.
Can't replace the roof?
At this point, with the lawsuit,
Insurance, pending.
yes, with that lawsuit, we can't actually replace. Would I like to?
And the problem with that though is that we replaced that roof a couple of times and it's just not working.
No. And when you go back with the same thing that's on there, it's not gonna work. But we have actually found some new methods that we're looking into. We've actually had some people up there in the last couple of weeks giving us ideas on how to repair it. Will it be a 100% fix? You don't know until you pull the trigger. I mean, and I hate to say it that way, but you really don't.
Right, and I think that's it's probably gonna be the third time we attempt to try to do it, and I don't know what to say, and somebody up here has a engineering degree.
We will take any advice we can get.
Yeah,
It's probably I'm saying this like I know what I'm talking about, but I mean, those dome-shaped roofs are not known for their,
that's right.
Stability, because any
In the
flying
air.
object in a 40-mile-an-hour wind,
Force case,
it's crashing.
Mr. Shirley, did y'all have a chance to check on that one classroom out of Whitefield?
Yes, sir, they're scheduled, they're supposed to be doing it, they may have already started on it. She actually gave us a date that she would not be in class, so we didn't disrupt her. So whatever date she gave us, and I want to say it may be Thursday this week, I'm not sure, but we will wait until after she got done. But yeah, we're on it. I'm hoping to have it in the next week or so, we'll have her done.
Well, Mr. Shirley has taken over my responsibilities of operations, and I'm glad to let him have it. And so I'm now your finance person, he's our operations person. He's gonna do a great job, I've been very
If y'all
happy.
do not know my phone number, please don't ask anybody for it. Because it already rings enough. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
As usual, when we have this early meeting, we have not submitted claims yet. It's not the 10th of the month, so what you see on your sheet are the claims for March. I will have April numbers. I'll update this in board docs for you, so you'll be able to see that probably tomorrow. I have all the paperwork, I just have to submit it. As Mr. Shirley said, the freezers are gone. We're doing our part to help Ms. Rashow spend her money. And we're excited about the prospect of having that new equipment in. We have a visit scheduled. It was scheduled for May 2nd when I submitted this report. As she's changed on us, we'll have a visit from a USDA representative coming to check out our facility as well as 4 of our schools. She hasn't told me which 4 yet, but that's always a nice thing to make sure we're in compliance with those guidelines. And we are staffed and ready, scheduled for our summer school training and have the people we need to take care of our kiddos this summer. Do any of you guys have questions for us?
Ms. Reba and Mr. Frady want to know what was for lunch Friday and Friday and Monday.
Friday and Monday, I'm
This
not
Friday.
that good. I'd have to look, I have to cheat, but you can go on the
You
website.
can
and
text
see.
them later. or something.
Okay, all right, that is important to know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So, in preparation for next school year, we're asking anyone who is interested, in the district, as a district employee, who would like to come work with us at Echo Ride, either as a driver or a monitor, to please put in your application now, so you can get in with our summer retraining and training programs that we are going to be doing.
Mr. Watson, real quick, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but you're talking about current employees who would want to drive with y'all?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry we didn't mention this earlier, but you and I can get together and we can have a end of year meeting where we try to get everyone who's interested to come to a centralized location, possibly in here.
That would be great.
We can facilitate that for y'all with the district email.
Yes, sir.
Just
All
call
right.
me tomorrow and we'll figure it all out.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely will. Summer school, we should have our student roster by May 16th, and then we'll finalize our routes, our pickup and drop-off locations by May 27th to be able to send out to parents. Summer reporting. So, of course, I've been here since January, and I've loved every minute of it, and I want to thank y'all for accepting me in. I want to take this time to acknowledge that, I and my operation have not been without fault. And I want to take this opportunity to let you know that that is something that I'm going to be looking into heavily while we were out, in the June and July. I know we still have summer school going on in June, but I have historical data from August all the way to May to help us become a better operation and become 2024 strong. So just know if you guys see any operational woes, things that didn't make sense to you, I implore you to please call me, email me, and we'll get it sorted, and we'll come into 2024, good face for the Natchitoches Parish School.
Is there a shortage of drivers at this point?
Currently, I have 5 open routes. So I do have people coming in for interviews, but with it being so close to the end of the year, we're having a bit of a hard time finding people who would be willing to come in and then wait for August. So not to say that it isn't happening, but we are getting people in for interviews, and we're coming into 2024 fully staffed. I'll say that much. Anyone else have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not sure if it's a you question or Dr. Eloy question or a combination, but are we still considering text alerts?
I can answer that. Mr. Wascom along with Mr. Kozad, and they did bring Jacob into it. We're looking at 5 different pieces of technology. Basically, what I informed, because Mike came to me with all the tech savvy stuff he says that I don't understand half of it. And I said, this is what I want. I want a parent to be able to open our app and find their bus route on a map. So if if the bus is running late, or if they're just interested where they are, they can pull it up and say, okay, they're in this location. There are some things that are very intense, like literally the bus driver, every kid has a badge that has a thing on it, and they scan every kid as they come out and come in, and every kid as they go out. So literally parents get alerts about, they got off the bus, they got off the bus. That's a little too much. We want them to be able to find the bus, know where they're at. We don't want a whole lot of alerts. We just want it to be a passive thing that when a parent wants to know where their child is, they can look it up. There will not be any identifiable information in terms of, you know, Miss Page is on this bus. It will be, they have to know where their bus route, and they'll be able to see where their bus route is. There's some logistical things about that because, as Mike explained to me the other day, each bus will have a unique GPS device that is only related to their bus. If a bus driver comes in and says, hey, I just woke up with the stomach flu, I can't be in today, then hopefully the sub driver would be able to drive their bus, so then the same route would appear in the same route. Otherwise, if they were on a different bus, they would have to pull the GPS for Route 24 to put on the new bus, so it still appears as Route 24.
That'd be tough in the rural areas though, where they keep their bus at their house.
Well, and as I talked to Jacob informed me that the vast majority of call-outs, they know about weeks ahead of time. It's scheduled appointments, etc. And so most of that is possible. What we're doing this in the next 2 weeks is Mike very wisely is getting with each one of these different 5 entities. We're doing a trial basis with Jacob and Echo to see which one works best. We'll choose one, and in part based on economics and what it's able to do for us. The other part will be, after that's done, then it'll be, okay, what systems do we and Echo need to put together collectively to make sure the logistics piece, because we don't want to put this in place, it's great, and then because someone calls out and they don't have the right GPS, they're like, well, this isn't even worth it, you know. So it's kind of a 2-part thing. We were working together. We are confident that over the next 3 months and some change that we'll be able to get the right product and the right system in place to communicate more effectively to parents.
So this is going to be funded through the partnership?
We're talking through all that right now. We're trying to be good neighbors to each other and figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. So that's as we're working through it and just having those conversations. And I can't tell you enough, Jacob's been very open to everything, and it's been good so far. I think we'll keep it for now. So.
Hopefully for the upcoming school year? Or
Yes, ma'am.
shortly after?
No, the idea is this would be rolling for next school year. We've been investigating for about 6 months now. We're getting to the point where it's actually trying to run some tests of different things. Because they all sound amazing in theory.
We're bringing in 5 tests.
Yeah.
Y'all have anything else for me? All right. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Next one. Okay, I have brought up the budget. Once again, the general fund looks in good order. The payroll of the general fund is higher than last year at this time because remember the money we gave out in October with that extra money coming in from the state and the equivalent amount of expenses there. I am pretty good with the general fund at this time. General child nutrition. Shauna just went out the door, but I have good news. They are still in the positive. And we have Title I here, but we decided to get rid of ESSER 2. And where you see ESSER 3, this is the amount of money. It's significantly higher because we realized we left one of the funds off. But I said, there's no way that what we were reporting was totally accurate. So ESSER 3 is ESSER 3 formula, ESSER 3 EB, ESSER 3 incentive, it's a whole bunch of different varieties of stuff. So we roll them all into this. So anyhow, we have currently gotten and received, since July 1, this amount of reimbursement. The difference between these two numbers, once again, is the amount of money that was received. I will tell you that on May 1, we did receive that balance in. It just hasn't been posted on this system yet for this report. Here's ESSER 3, another round of it here. So anyhow, and so ESSER 3 is comprised of many components. This is ESSER 3 formula, which is the big one. It's the $21 million budget, which has been going on since 2021. And then ESSER 3, basically the other components are in this one here. I do agree, I believe all this will be pretty well exhausted by the end of September. I think we're in good shape there. I will be honest with you, I'll be glad when it's all done. It's been stressful, as they call it, the ESSER cliff, and I'm excited to finally have that over with. I would like to say how thankful we are about what's provided for, all the AC upgrades, the central office remodel in the building next door. It's been a tremendous thing. It really has advanced our district forward a great deal. Hope the federal government decides to do this in the future as well. So, are there any other questions regarding the budget?
While you're there, can you pull up sales tax?
Yeah. I'll go down to the bottom, the G, and pull up sales tax. On this front, not a lot of good news here. We are down for the month of basically April collections. We are down 26%. The cumulative total for the year is 7.39. But you will see just in the month of April, over last year, same time, we're down 600,000. If anybody's been out there shopping, been going to restaurants, y'all can feel it. It's definitely times are tight right now with the high interest rates. On a brighter note, we have been able to take the money we have in reserves and put it into a high interest earning account. That's been helpful. However, this is a substantial decline, and we will have to deal directly with this in the budget this year. We will plan, it is my plan to present to this board a budget for this coming year in the month of June. And this is a goal of mine I have always wanted to do. You remember how we've been the past several years, and since I've been here, we've always been presenting budgets in September. To me, it's kind of late. So I've been working with Stephen Stanfield as a consultant to really get all the fixes done and put in place.
Well, you need to do a budget adjustment between now and then.
We will be doing a year-end budget because we do have a lot of, yes, you clearly can see we're past the 7% threshold. This item will be budgeted. We were not going to do a budget until our year-end budget and wrap it up into just one big budget adjustment. Unless the board would like me to go ahead and prepare one for next month, I'll be glad to do that. But there's really no need. I usually do a year-end budget adjustment. Okay. I'm afraid it's going to do it again, and if the next 2 months after that get work, or like this last month, it's going to be, I'll have to do another budget adjustment. I was just trying to wait till it was all done. Trust me, we've stopped spending. As of April 15th, there is no spending going on other than the federal funds that are being spent. The BRE budgets that now Ryan is basically in charge of the BRE funds. I have delegated, he still works with me on that, but he determines basically what's going to be spent in those areas, but I am allowing obviously ongoing repairs at the schools. But other than that, and federal spending, all other spending is pretty much stopped. So, any other questions? All right, thank y'all.
Is everybody okay? Yeah. We're in the home stretch.
I want to add that we will be honoring our employees of the year next week on the 14th, right before the board meeting, in this little back room back here. I don't think that was said. And the retirees will be honored on the 23rd at 11:30 in this room. I'd also like to say that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it focuses on the importance of mental health and its impact on our well-being. A lot was said about that tonight, and I just want to remind you, if you're the person who checks on everybody else, let them check on you. Check on your people. And just remember, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. I repeat.
Members, any questions for Ms. Mason? Thank you, Ms. All right. That's up our information reports.
Seven, finance, facilities, services, and insurance. A, discuss and consider change cafeteria plan management provider from First Financial to Hub International.
Okay, I was gonna lay out for y'all real quick, as quickly as possible. I'm asking that the board approve a switch from First Financial as a provider of our cafeteria plan benefits. Y'all know what I mean by that? It's all the other benefits other than retirement and OGB, which is health and life insurance. All the other aspects of dental and I don't know, it's totally optional. Some of this stuff is pre-tax, some of it's pre-payroll, it's called pre-tax, but it's before your payroll, and then some of it's after your payroll deductions. Here's the problem. Let's talk about me, for instance. I had asked American First Financial to set me up with a 457 plan. Well, I'm now one of 8 that never got the notice. So last month, about mid-month, I received a visit from Mackenzie Griffith in charge of benefits. She said, Lee, we have not been deducting from your payroll the $200 a month to go into your 457 plan. Would you like to do it all at once? No. That's $1,200 out of my net pay. I'm not the only one. I would tell you that of the 700 full-time employees, we have probably as much as 30 to 40% are having little problems here and there. What I'd like to present is a company called Hub International, and they are here, their representatives are here to talk to answer any questions of the board. But we have worked with SNS software or our accounting software and worked with them on an interface. The basic idea here is they will provide, in many cases, almost all the same companies, but in any event there is a variance on going to a different company, it will be a better price of that company and the same or better services. Also, they will have an online portal where the teachers can go online and actually manage their own cafeteria plan online. Here's the great thing. Mackenzie, who's our director of benefits, our benefits coordinator, will be able to upload once a month all the updates, like Lee, he needs his 457 removed. But why didn't I get notice of my 457? Because right now, how they're managing it is manually. So that some of the cases it comes in, we're told of it. Some of the cases it's not. We run payroll, pull all our bills that we're supposed to send to First Financial. We send it to them. Well, when they tell us, some of our deductions are wrong. This is once as often as we would like. Now, Rod Nunez and Maria and Maria are from Hub International, and they're here to present anything that y'all need to know about this. But I want to tell y'all, this is long overdue. A lot of the problems we have in payroll is that we cannot get a true understanding of what people's deductions need to be, what we pull out of their account. For instance, let's say they go on long-term disability. Well, we're supposed to quit charging that employee long-term disability for the months they're on disability, we're supposed to quit charging them all that. Well, we're not doing that. We just keep charging. And then later, currently, or the current provider, they go back months later and say, oh, by the way, you need to refund this person all these months. We would like to have it where it's happening all the time. Now, I will tell you that McKinsey and I talked about doing the same sort of thing with OGB, which is our health insurance. We have a similar problem with health insurance. But we believe, since it's not so many options, that we can actually manage this manually. But you have to realize we have 700 employees to sit there and go through every month, every list of what their deductions should be versus what they are. That's a lot to do. But we believe that we can work with the IT department, try and figure out how to download from OGB and download from our system and do a comparison and do this on a regular basis. That's important. There are certain people that, like for instance, I have somebody rolling off my health plan. I'm wondering how long it's going to take my own system, my own department that I manage to figure out that one of my dependents has rolled off and I should be getting a refund. I was just going to test it out, to be honest with you, but now let them know. But I'm just letting y'all know that that's happened. But when the OGB knows about it immediately, but how long does it take that information to get up to us? So what I'm doing is trying to kind of overhaul, going away from a manual update, and with all the mistakes that it implied, with a vast number of employees, to an auto upload with Hub, and a more of a, as close as we can get it, auto upload from OGB.
So Lee, to summarize, no additional cost to the district, but a much better, efficient, service-oriented product for our staff.
Correct.
They will see less mistakes, less concerns, all that.
And McKinsey wrote the points on this thing I attached, all the points of this. Right now we're given a 75-page booklet, and it'll be down to 17, it'll be much simpler. Most of this will be online. Anyhow, yes, this was all supposed to be basically trying to go to a real-time understanding of what we need.
So is there any other companies that do the same thing that does?
There's one other company in the state of Louisiana. Is it called Temple? What's it called? There's just one other company that we're aware of that interfaces with software services in this manner. The key that we're buying is not so much their service of all the benefits that they're representing. The key is the technology they're providing to interface with our technology.
Absolutely.
That's the key element here. But they have promised, like I said, I would certainly give the floor to Rod Nunez to speak on this. But I wanted y'all to understand, I wanted to be the primary lead on this instead of Hub International saying, because ultimately it came down to McKinsey and I, and of course Dr. Eloy allowing this. But for us to present to y'all what we believe will give much greater service and better accuracy on payroll. And if y'all know the number one sensitive thing when it comes to employees is their pay and payroll.
And board, the reason I immediately said yes after hearing the full presentation is one of the lagging things. I think y'all would agree in the past 4 years that the payroll department is much more effective, efficient, et cetera, than it's ever been. But one of the things that still lags behind, in fact, I had an employee recently who had applied for a certain thing through the cafeteria plan and still hadn't received it. And it wasn't anything we had done or really anyone had done wrong. It's just this lag between things being manually put in and them actually taking place. What it does, though, is obviously as the employee, they don't know the nuances of how this works. So their immediate reaction, and I would do the same, is to blame the district for what's going on. And sometimes, literally what's going on is, I no longer have coverage and I have a doctor's appointment in 2 days and, things of that nature. And so it's big deals. I mean, over Christmas I dealt with an individual who we had done everything we were supposed to, but because of this situation, they needed to have some sort of medical procedure and everything was in flux because they had paid in, we had paid in, but whatever entity it was through their cafeteria plan wasn't up to date. And so, you know, those are big life-altering things going on, and so anything that can make that a smoother situation for our employees, I just think is the least we can do.
So I had no idea they were doing that manually. That really makes me feel bad for y'all. So I'm very excited that it will be an employee-driven employee portal. Will you have some support for the employees who kind of don't know how to
Can I,
manage it?
Rod, would you like to come up and, you and Marie?
Yeah, so the question was, will we have assistance for the
Yeah, because you know how some employees, they aren't really great with online portals as others are. You know, if their job is not in front of a computer or whatnot.
Yeah, so we have a full service, like they have the ability to call just like they could anywhere else to get to us for any questions that they have. We have people on the phone 8 in the morning until 6 in the afternoon to answer those questions. But we also are gonna spend time with Mackenzie, updating her on everything. And we spent a lot of time with Mackenzie on just the processes and just seeing how the lag, the three months, I think is what she said, it would take her to really get everything correct. But then once that 3 months is up, she's got more of that built up that's gonna take. So we can really, the technology we have is real time, but you don't really need it real time. That's too much movement. So we picked like a month would be a good time, which would surely bring her up. But back to the question, yes, we would have full support for the employees to call at any time. Plus the enrollment process would be a little bit different in the respect that Maria manages our online portal and our call center, to where they have the ability to call the call center and ask questions as well.
That's awesome. So whenever they have open enrollment, will it be more seamless? Will they be able to do that online?
Yeah.
They would have the option to either utilize the enrollment center if they felt, or if they felt comfortable enough, they could go online. So the enrollment center would give them answers to the questions regarding the benefits, help them enroll, or they could do it online on their own. Yes, ma'am.
Have you read this document? Our current vendor describes Nash Crest School Board as the most difficult district in Louisiana.
That's
Leave
not
our
really.
pay schedule. We have engineered a mess. So what are you gonna do to fix it?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, the technology is really.
Take our problems away from us.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. The most important thing is the accuracy of the data. Not only will it help Mackenzie, but the employees as well. I mean, just through asking questions and just looking at the coverages that they have, there's some duplicate coverages. I'm afraid there's going to be employees who have 2 different types of one policy. I noticed a critical illness and a cancer. So there's a lot of there's a little duplication on that part. But as far as the reporting, where that's going to fix is the ability to not have, like if somebody thinks they have coverage, but because of the lag, or they thought they added a dependent, that because of the lag, it's not reported, that technology updates it immediately.
Okay, so how are you gonna change, should you find something that we need to change the due date or move the adjustment date or withdrawal date? How are you going to notify these folks, and how are we going to, as a district, make that a smooth transition? Because that's always.
We initiate that ability. Mackenzie initiates a communication with them. They send us the most recent upload. Okay, they do the first load. They basically send us modifications and edits and deletions is all we get. So we get the original load, which will happen, I guess, every August, the original load, and then we get updates with deletions and modifications and add-ons. All that stuff is done, so all we're getting is just some modifications. And we're planning on doing this before we run the end of month
You're gonna do a
payroll.
couple of test clients?
What's that?
You're gonna do it?
Oh, there will be testing over the summer.
Yeah, there's
I've gone through this 3 different times
Okay.
with the company I work with, and you sometimes you do have to make adjustments with when stuff is collected, how it moves, and stuff like that. Sometimes the company can just back their stuff up or move forward, but we just need to make sure we have a seamless communication program that everyone understands and can be a part of, because not everyone is going to sits in front of a computer every day.
Right.
Yeah, they could easily go the manual route like it's happening today to get in touch with us. But those who are capable, and not so capable, who want to go online, they'll have the ability. the technology, we can give you guys as much leeway as you want to add your dependents, to do as much as you want in there. Right now, all that's gotta be done manually going through Mackenzie. That could be done to whatever extent, and then Mackenzie gets a notice, so-and-so just updated, okay, no problem. Versus paper trails that are going back and forth right now. So that's gonna improve the accuracy right there. So that, you know, the two key points were that the timeliness, to not have that 3-month lag, that scared me when she said 3 months. I was like, that blows my mind. And then she said, even when I fix that, I got 3 more months. So that goes away right there. And then, you know, some employees, like we said, they're gonna be overcharged, so we gotta refund them. Or they're undercharged and not covered because of that lag.
Just creates work for everybody.
Correct, yeah.
So basically,
And tension.
basically the changes that they needed done was not done immediately, like
Correct.
push a button update, like a computer, somebody doing
Correct.
data,
That's how
making
it's,
changes was not done immediately.
correct. Because
Because
it's
the
not,
data was discouraging.
yeah, that's not how, today that's not how it works. That's what we wanted, that's what we proposed. This technology is gonna allow them to make that change that's immediate.
So on the
And
onset,
it ties in with, I'm sorry, it ties in with payroll. So those deductions are already done. It's not like a manual person has to say, that person just did this, I gotta fix that. You can't imagine how many errors happen because of that manual process. You put it all, you automate that process, and that's why we mentioned the payroll tie. We've already verified that our technology ties in with y'all's payroll. So that's key, because that, as soon as that life-changing event happens, it happens on the payroll, nobody's gonna touch it. Mackenzie's just gonna look at a report and say, yep, there we go.
so at the very beginning of school, somebody will be physically at the schools explaining the new programs and maybe even comparing what they had last year versus these are the options we have now.
Yeah, and there's no reason to change if we don't have to
Right.
change, but the goal is to also improve the benefits at a lower cost.
Sure.
That's the goal. It would be silly for us to do anything else. Minimally keep it the same, but improve the experience for the teachers, employees, and so forth.
But for a new employee, they would explain what was offered to them, and an old employee, they'd have something explaining, hey, this is what you had and these are your options today.
Yeah.
And they also, I want to say that anything that they want to keep,
Sure.
they can maintain, but they would pay it, it would be direct pay.
Right.
But in many cases, we were looking at the companies that the current provider provides and what they provide, and it'll be an easy transition over there. There won't be a problem.
Yeah, it will, yeah, like I said, there are some that we see there's 2 or 3 life options. We just don't personally understand why it is that way, and it's confusing to me, and I'm in the industry.
Right.
And when I saw the booklet, it was, I just didn't understand why they had all that. Some of it, to me, is duplicate. So scale down some of that, keep it simple, model it like most of the other businesses we do, not like we're trying to be that way, but simplify it a little bit. It's just a lot.
Okay, so the recommendation is from Mr. Watts and Superintendent Eloy, this is a better process?
But, yeah,
Much.
as it's been explained to me, much,
And what I'm reading, and what I'm hearing, yes.
These are notes and Mackenzie's new here. She comes from a company that it was automated, and she was floored that she had to sit there and manually put all this in. So I've been
She's
sitting
very
down-
familiar with this.
She's very familiar with this, so she's floored and kind of upset that as hard as she works at her job, she'll never be accurate. Because she said, I would have to spend the next 3 months getting this corrected, and at that end of that 3 months, I'll be 3 months behind on getting those updates corrected. It'll be never ending.
That's like, you know, snowball that's going over and over and over and over.
So and I know y'all have not known this perhaps in this detail, but I wanted to let y'all know this is a major problem with payroll getting the teachers and employees accurate deductions and services. And this will fix a large portion of it. There is a problem still with OGB, but that will be where Mackenzie will focus in trying to get that as automated as possible. And get that figured out as well. So you have our commitment that we'll focus on OGB and this will be automated. And I believe we will see a tremendous increase in accuracy, and that will therefore create less unhappy people about how we've managed their pay. Even though none of this has been intentional. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
This will be starting this August enrollment, by the way.
All right, 7B, permission to advertise bids for new AC systems at Nagg Central High School, paid for by ESSER.
Can I preempt this real quickly? Okay, there's several hoops that have to be jumped through. Mr. Wasserman is doing this kind of in reverse order to get y'all's permission. But I do not want y'all to leave today thinking that if y'all pass this, then we're gonna get new ACs at Central. Several things have to happen for this to successfully happen. And Ms. Rachel's involved, but there's several other bridges that need to be crossed. So
the reason we're going about this way is the
Yeah.
timeline we're under.
Yeah.
The timeline we're under.
It's just to release the bid, doesn't it?
That's all I'm asking is permission to release the bid and get the 30-day count going.
Yeah, because all that extra free money, Ms. Rachel, by when, September what?
30.
There you go.
So once again, if Ms. Rashop is unable to fund it, well then it's a dead process.
I just wanted the board, I didn't want y'all to get too much down the line and be like, where do those air conditions go? You know, that type deal.
So let y'all know 95 units are at Nagg Central. We have the big tower cooler, and this feeds that, and this distributes the air within the rooms. 6 of them have been replaced. Of the 95, 90 still need to be replaced. Ever been to the gym and it's hot? I want to know why. Because there's one there too that's broken. This is what, and this is what we want to fix. It's not that we're not generating enough coolant. We just don't, the units that distribute the coolant. And the estimated budget was around $13,500 per unit. And it takes about a day to install each one of them. Depending on if they need a crane. If they're way up in the attic, that's different. But overall,
One we removed the other day had it stamped on back in 1993.
1993 was when it was last replaced. Okay. So I just want to let y'all know these things are way overdue and they're all failing on us. So we're hoping if there's any money available in ESSER, we could use this for this. But there will be no option if we don't get this ball rolling.
All right. 7C, discuss and consider updates to salary schedule for 2024-2025.
I have attached to this the new salary schedule. Nice new cover, the whole thing. We have added, I believe, three additional pages. So I want to go through the highlights. If you will go, page 1 has not changed, and page 2, which is the teacher's salary schedule, has not changed. It has one minor change here. If you will look at it, and I am highlighting it on the screen, persons with a valid practitioner's license is the new addition. That's called a PL. That's a person who's just about to become a certified. We have always treated them as a certified teacher and given them steps. We're just adding this to this. And we're also adding the next sentence. It says, personnel on a tab, temporary authorization teacher, will be paid from instructional facilitator salary schedule on page 7, which is a new aspect of this salary schedule. Okay? So, this is the TAP performance supplements. I let Dr. Eloy address this.
Yeah, so we pulled this language from the NIT language that goes with the Strong Grant. The big question everyone wants to know is, if I'm not a strong funded position, do I still get incentive pay? And the answer is yes. For example, the easiest example of this is, do y'all remember last year we had pre-K teachers had to be funded separately from the general fund for the stipend from the state? Similar type of thing. We have some employees who are not covered under Strong, but through other buckets, whether it be federal programs or general fund, they will still be a part of that program. There are some caveats in the TAP rubric. The biggest one that, and we have shared this with all employees, if you miss greater than 59 days of school, you're not able to participate in the incentive pay. That's twofold. Number one, obviously we don't want people missing school for no reason, but it's also more of a practical thing from the math. We can't give you incentive pay when you miss a certain amount of days because we can't prove that you actually had an impact on your students because you weren't there long enough to show that. And so this is really, we did not recreate the wheel here. We took this from all the districts around the nation that are utilizing this same model. So, and really quick, I'm sorry, this is teachers all the way up to principals. No one above principal will be receiving incentive pay. You have master teachers and principals are kind of the highest level, and then teachers are the lowest rung of the chart, and everyone in between, but those are the ones that receive the incentive pay.
This page here is a professional and non-administrative staff. I removed the old columns A, B, and C. They are now on the next schedule. So basically what is now labeled as A is the old D. And so what I've done is moved A, B, and C to a new grouping called custodial staff. Because all those three columns were custodial staff. So you'll see this on the next page.
So it didn't change anyone's pay or anything like that?
We have not changed any pay or any of that stuff. Okay, so page 7 right here. The first column is one of the new and most significant things that we need to understand. If you're on a TAP, you are getting full benefits, and right now you're participating as a certified teacher, BS degree column, 0 steps, and you stay there the entire time you're on the TAP. We are changing that to where now if you are a uncertified teacher, you're getting not $180 a day, but $150 a day. If you get a TAP, you become an instructional facilitator, which is in this column. You do not participate in sales tax, but you do receive all the other benefits of retirement and health insurance.
Just so everyone's aware, people who are currently under TATs are grandfathered in. They will not lose their pay. It's only if they lose their TAT, and they only would lose their TAT by not doing what they're supposed to, would they be transferred to this new salary schedule, or a brand new person in the district who's now under a TAT would go under this new salary schedule. But anyone who's currently under the current TAT pay structure is grandfathered in.
Which is certified teachers, BS degree, with 0 steps. That's where they're currently at. So I just want to make sure y'all understand this is significant change. Okay, see the custodial column over here, the last 3? That's the A, B, and C columns from the previous. So no changes or anything. I then moved the attendance clerk from the secretarial page, put it here, and then spelled the word attendance correctly this time. And I also put the school bookkeeper right here as well. Okay. There's no changes at all with, that's not true. The very last column under warehouseman, 12 month, that was not addressed. It was in this schedule last year, it has been added. So we had a warehouseman 9 month last year, we added 12 month, and which was needed. Okay, so here, the secretarial staff on page 9, once again, I removed the attendance clerk and the bookkeeper and put them in the other one. Other than that, these are all the same. All the levels are the same. Paraprofessional, that's no changes at all. Page, well, what page is this on? The 10, I guess. All this is all the same. The school administrators, this doesn't make. We had some minor updates right here under school spirit facilitator, and one thing that was added was when Miss Felicia, I think, added a the sports marketing and media coordinator. That was actually something that was added at NACA Central, and this was agreed to, so we added this to the schedule here.
Well, it was added for high school.
It's added for high school only, yeah.
It started with Central, but it's added for both high school.
Other than that, this is all the same as well. Coaching, I don't think there are any changes to coaching. No, there's not. Okay, and on this page, I want to point out this right here. This line item right here, our long-term subs, which right now we have 8. They were getting paid $180 a day. The average with all the surrounding districts is no more than 120. I'm asking that we bring it from 180 down to 150, and that would give them $26,250 on average pay. So if they get a TAT, they go to $30,000, and if they become a teacher, they go to $41,500.
So the whole idea is this is
keep the motivation for them moving forward.
it's a progression at every level.
Only thing is, when those months come for November and December, and, you know, they don't get paid when it's bad weather.
Correct.
That's
They only get paid for the days they show up for it.
Right.
It's $150 a day.
right. I don't know, cause I mean, you know, a long-term sub does the same work that a certified teacher does. The same exact, they have to get observed, your informal and formal. They do the lesson plans. They do the same exact thing as a regular teacher. It's not, oh, let me call her this morning, see if she'll come, or however the new system is. No, they go every day. They do duty. They do everything as a regular teacher.
Tanky, I'm really not in charge of that, but I will say to you that we are currently paying an extremely high price compared to the market, all the other districts around us. I don't think anybody in the state of Louisiana is paying $180 a day. What I would like to do is, I'm not bringing.
Well, why not do it since nobody else is doing it to keep them? Just because they're not doing it don't mean we don't have to now.
Do these long-term subs not have the opportunity to join TAT?
Well, see, the thing that was unfair about TAT was the fact that you could earn at $41,500, plus we pay you on a monthly basis to attend the course to become a teacher.
Right.
You could theoretically earn more on a person that's on a TAT than you would as an actual certified teacher coming fresh out of Northwestern. That's just not fair. So what this was about moving things around to where it made sense, and it was more fair. I'm not asking to drop the long-term certified pay to 120, which is the market rate. I'm saying bring it down from 180 to 150.
So I would say to your question,
Well, take away some of the responsibilities. No duty,
they're not supposed to have duty
not before 7:30, not before
Yes, ma'am,
7:40, whatever time they got to clock in.
Yeah, they're not supposed to go over their hours, and we can reiterate that to principals. To Ms. Barbie, to your question, this is supposed to be something a trajectory that someone works through. And so you're right, they would have to get their bachelor's in order to get the TAT. And then we also have some people who, we're trying to get in different things like Reach University and things of that nature. I think we have some long-term subs in Reach University. Is that accurate, Ms. Page? But yeah, it's supposed to do all that. I think what I would say is what we're doing district-wide is we are trying to do 2 things here. One, tighten our belt a little bit because we know about the realities of budget. And then the other thing is to create a system which encourages people to go to that next level, whether it be from long-term sub to TAT to PL, PL to certified, etc. Anytime you tighten the belt, there's going to be some uncomfortable conversations, but those are the 2 main goals of the initiative.
Where do the persons that are retired teachers, and they sub, what is
So they would be a certified teacher
if they're certified, so what kind of pay?
They get $160 a day.
They usually have facility.
But yeah, a lot of them don't want to make too much. If they make too much, they lose out on their retirement. So we typically don't, I've actually had retired teachers tell us, hey, we're gonna pay you this much, and they're like, can you pay me a few thousand less? And it's one of those weird things because
I just wondered what was the difference.
And they can only like work till November or December.
So that offsets that, because we don't have a cost of benefits for them.
yeah.
Well, that concludes my presentation of the new salary schedule.
Mr. Lee, I got a question about child nutrition.
So we fixed all that.
That's fixed.
All fixed it.
There was
That was
a
a mistake on my part.
something got transposed and put on board docs. As soon as you called me, I took it off board docs. Mr. Watson found the problem. And she was 100% correct with her assessment. So thank you to that employee.
Thank you.
I'm glad you called it. Yes.
Before it got too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoever it was looking right away. It sounded like
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
It was.
7D, discuss and consider offers for land on Highway 9, Preston, Louisiana, and on Flora, Natchez, Louisiana. Lee?
Okay, this is the first one, Creston, Highway 9, Creston. The list price is $2,000. The appraised price, we got a cash offer of $3,500. But, well, I know, I think they released has offered mineral rights transfer to the buyer. We have declined anything where the mineral rights are not retained with us. We're trying to renegotiate. So I'm asking that we approve this contingent upon them letting us maintain mineral rights.
Where's that located at, New Preston? What's on
You know, see, the problem is there's no address with any of this stuff because no address was ever assigned. And actually, we had to get this parcel number assigned to it so we could sell it because it was never assigned, a parcel number.
A little less than that.
You know, with
Warehouse.
with that mineral right, we need to go in, we did the other one where we were sold, kept all the mineral rights. It wouldn't be fair to the
No, I agree with
to the people that just bought the property, that we kept all the mineral rights and didn't go in with this person. Get up in the Creston area, that's where they, you know, making, drilling more wells and all that with natural gas. So I guess that's the reason he would like to get the mineral rights, but I think we need to keep them.
I've told the board is not interested in accepting offers. I hope I'm representing y'all correctly. That we're not interested in accepting offers at this time for any land where we are not allowed to maintain mineral rights.
I don't think we should ever be in agreement.
I agree. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I should be done. I just don't think it's worth our time to sell off a piece of property and then not be able to keep mineral rights.
And so we don't know exactly where this little
I'm asking.
0.99 is located, because I know in that area, there is a lot of drilling and things going on there.
It's not that, this one isn't that far up yet.
You can actually go to the tax.
Oh, it's not. I know we used to have a school right there where Creston was at, where you go down and Creston there, and then back toward Ashland there too. So
It's not that far toward Ashland.
it's not,
And that's where all that's going.
but it's on 9 now.
Right, it's on 9.
So if it's on 9, it's more than likely somewhere where the old school was at.
All right, so we're gonna vote to counter on this, or are we gonna just?
I've already countered.
Okay.
I've already countered. I would like to ask that we, on this second one, that we approve the offer number 1 contingent upon maintaining mineral rights.
Right.
In the event that they choose to decline, well, then we just don't sell it and we'll just reconsider in the future.
Okay.
We still have a week, and I'm hoping Janice will be here next week to actually address what the latest is on this. Because it says here the offer expires May 8th, and tomorrow. I told her we weren't voting until the 14th. So I'm hoping she will come here on the 14th and be able to address any updates on these properties. I think we're going to encounter this where people are trying to, deal with this, but I just told her absolutely under no conditions at this time are we willing to accept anything where we don't maintain all mineral rights.
All right, that concludes finance.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Mr. Danzy,
What do you want to do here?
what do we want to talk about? Always assembly policy.
Yeah, and I took those before the handbook committee and to get y'all some options.
We have two policies there. One was student participation in athletic program. This is the one where we all kind of looked at one another and we said, we probably need input from the full board, because once we get to the boardroom, it's probably gonna be a little push and shove, so.
So, after the committee meeting, because there was a lot of different opinions, and we couldn't come to a final solution or whatever. So I took it before the handbook committee because we were talking about discipline policy today. And if you look at the policy, student participation in athletic programs, everything in orange is where we have options. It says a student wishing to participate in interscholastic athletics shall. So on the first one, they're talking about a grade point average. Right now, LHSAA says it has to be a C average, but they don't define the grade point average because there is some difference between districts on how they calculate. Currently, the lowest C average you can have in Natchitoches Parish schools is at 1.5 because it rounds up to 2. A C is worth 2. So we'd like to put that at, we would like to say 1.5 grade point average, and then at least equal to minimally required by the LHSAA in which the district, just LHSAA. And Ms. Kanick, are you kind of following me on this one to see if this is what the board accepts, taking notes and all that fun stuff? So 1.5, and then obviously that equates to a C. The next one was where we had more of an issue. It was have a discipline record for, and this gets confusing. I'm going to read you what it has there. Insert period, i.e. current semester. So have a discipline record for the current semester or current grading period, which is free from out of school suspension or expulsion. The recommendation by the committee was have a discipline record for the current semester, which is free from expulsions. What they told us is in the meeting is occasionally they will have an athlete who has a suspension, but typically when that occurs, they allow the coaches to exercise disciplinary action within the teams. And they feel like that's working fine. They really don't want to exclude athletes unless it gets to the level of an expulsion, which, to be honest with you, would exclude them anyways.
Or how many suspensions? We haven't talked about that. Suppose there's 2.
We did not talk about
that.
We did not.
I thought about it after the meeting.
So you just complicated.
So during the suspension period, though, they can't play in.
During the suspension, they cannot. But I think what Billy's saying is if they had 2 suspensions in the same semester, would they be allowed to continue? Would they be able to continue playing at all?
How many suspensions before they're recommended for expulsion?
I mean, it's typically 3. You get 3 suspensions and then an expulsion, but there's faster routes, as you know, too. So you could say expulsion or 3 suspensions in a semester, because it's kind of, those are almost equal, although they don't always equal each other.
Yeah, but you have a guy that's got 2 suspensions in the semester.
Bad behavior.
Yeah, is that somebody you want to glorify?
Yeah, depends on what the suspensions were for, though, too. I mean, there's so much. I mean, if it was for a cell phone, which I know we don't automatically suspend for cell phone anymore, I mean, depends on the level of the offense, right? I mean, everything is so different, unless we want to put it black and white like that. I mean.
But if we leave it up for expulsions, we're leaving it up to the coaches to choose whether they want to or not,
So,
correct?
so currently,
Suspension.
I just want to be clear though, we currently don't have a quote-unquote problem. Things are going well. We have to put a policy in place that deals with this. If you address the suspensions, you're not fixing a problem that currently exists, but you may have unintended consequences of something that currently is working.
I don't think we should create a problem where there is no problem. I don't think we should create a problem where there is no problem.
I don't think we should, but I do think it needs to be consistent across all sports and organizations
Well,
across the school. Because you have some
Unless you have
that will immediately kick off the team with 1 suspension, and some that allow multiple suspensions and the kids are still playing. That's bad.
So they're in line with putting a number on suspensions.
Right. For everybody, right?
Gotta be.
Cheer, dance, football,
If you
softball,
said-
volleyball.
If you said 2 suspensions in a semester, I mean, kids being kind of a handful at that point. So, I mean, 2 would be excessive on the, now you could say 2 in a grading period. That's an even shorter amount of time.
Right.
And how long are they off? Just for that grading period? Or just for that semester?
Yes, ma'am. So I could go back to that committee.
It's excessive for nine before you do, that's excessive. To be suspended twice, that means that, you know, they have an issue.
So just want to put this out there, because y'all are creating this policy, and I'm fine with the direction. But hypothetical, we're in state championship. You got a super duper quarterback. He has one silly suspension, then he has one legit one, and I'm going to be the one telling him, you're not playing the state championship.
He
So
needs to get his life together.
he does. The hypothetical quarterback
What
does.
you just said makes
We
sense. A
always
silly
say-
suspension versus a real one.
Right.
I mean,
Which they all should
The
be
silly
real.
one,
they all should be real, but there's some, we do.
There's
consider
silly ones
some.
happen, but if I'm the kid that gets the silly, and then I'm walking down the hallway and someone punches me upside the head and I fight back, that's my second.
I just want y'all to be aware of this, because I'm going
And
to
now
pull this
it's
video
become-
when I tell the kid he can't be in the state championship, and literally everyone in that
I'm
commission.
a
But
three
see,
strike
the issue
shot.
has been, we've always
You gonna put
gave
a number on it.
preferential treatment to athletes, and it needs to be fair.
Well, I'm not even saying this is preferential, because the other kids who aren't in an organization, they're just getting suspended. This is actually even more so. You're getting suspended, and then you're getting punished
And a
again.
lot of times where that's the most important thing to that, or that's the only thing keeping that kid motivated and staying in school.
So, and that's where I'm at, Mr. Nicholson, is it's a two-way street. You want to hold kids accountable, and you don't want the kids representing our school to give us a bad name. But at the same time, some of our most at-risk students,
Maybe we need to handle on a case-by-case basis.
Well, and that's where that coach comes into play. I
Well,
think.
see, sometimes we even coach.
That's where you're gonna get that individuality, and it's gonna be like, this one comes in this.
And that's
Here-
for sure.
here's
And
the
if we
thing.
did that, we wouldn't even need a policy.
That's right, we're just free for all.
Should
Here's
be
the
in the
thing.
coach's
I agree with what you're
Read.
saying, Michael, but let's look at some of these young people, and we're talking about high school students. But some of these folks, and they get in college and start getting deal money, and they get out of college, they can't control themselves because of whatever. This whole thing is about discipline and about being in school and being a student athlete. And if you can't be a student athlete, and you can't be a student, and you can't stay in school, you shouldn't be an athlete, not on our teams. So you need to behave yourself.
I thought you were talking to Micah there. Need to behave.
Positive representation for the school.
Okay, so the question is, I think y'all were good with current semester expulsion, but you could put current semester expulsion or, is it 2 suspensions or 3 suspensions that y'all want to put in the,
Three strikes and you're out.
so, okay,
So
so,
3 for the year,
no, it'd be semester.
3 a semester.
It's a lot of misbehaving for nine.
Yes, it is.
Two grading
3
periods.
is too much. So
I know it seems that way, guys, but a lot of times,
Lot
the
3.
people who are getting those behaviors are the repeat offenders. So while it seems like to the
Make sure
average
they
person,
get
that
into
3 might be a lot,
counseling,
and they're probably gonna be.
And you make him put that in there, counseling.
they have to take some steps to show improved behavior. That's what we maybe consider, is that in there?
It's tough, I'm all about accountability, but
Yes.
Okay, so here's the other caveat. 3 is a lot. Does your policy look watered down by having 3 in there?
It's watered down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a lot. I mean,
Thank you, can I have another?
1 is too little, 3 may be too much. So if that's the case, we're in a Goldilocks situation, and 2 is where it's at. We're talking about a semester. That's a long time.
Right.
You could shorten it to say grading period, and so that way, I mean, if you get 2 in a grading period, realize You had to do something stupid, you got suspended, you were out for a few days, then you came back, you did something else. I mean, it took you a while to actually accumulate that.
So, but we are going, in the process of
That's
going
kind
to
of-
the two, a semester, whatever.
So why don't we
Are
do-
we gonna have accountability?
Always, miss.
I'm
But,
saying
you know what I'm saying,
council
with something
requires,
stupid with, you know,
mention
but
something.
9 times out of 10, if you're a good football player, a good basketball player, you can do plenty of stupid stuff and ain't gonna get put out. Because the coach is not gonna put you out, they're gonna keep on doing it. That's the favoritism for playing sports. And we all see that and all the students see that. So we gonna do favoritism for people in sports and, I might be the smartest child at the thing and do something stupid and I'll get put out. But we're not looking at academic, but we're looking at sports for favoritism.
So how about this? How about instead of semester, you do grading period, it's a shorter amount of time, which I think some of y'all wanted, and we say expulsion and or 2 suspensions. Is that kind of meeting in the middle?
I think so.
Okay.
And that's what
Well, y'all still get to vote on it. I'm just asking to put something down for y'all to vote on.
I do have a question though. So when this goes into policy, is this going into policy for all sports?
So
It's
what-
gonna be in their handbook, like
I
if
would
you
send a
already-
memo to all high schools and junior highs that would say, if you have the,
Dance line, cheer, volleyball.
you need to align your policy with our policy, because what's gonna happen if you don't, and parent sees it, we still trump you no matter what, and you're gonna have to reverse it, so you might as well reverse it now.
So we don't have any kind of accountability for junior high, right?
No, but we still, I mean, we try
gonna put
to,
this in place for junior high?
yeah, I mean, we just athletics.
Yeah, I just know there's no, junior high has no.
I mean, just
Junior
that
high
way,
levels in place, you know.
dance line, kids like it depends on one expulsion and a football player still playing with 4.
You're right.
Yeah, there, this, I'm excited about this because you're right, there's been a lot of inconsistency between different sports and different schools. This will hold everyone to the same,
standard.
yeah, same standard.
I think if you throw that to junior high, it sets a precedent.
Right.
Yep.
So 2 and grading.
Well,
Or expulsion.
the way I look at it, if you started at junior high, the expectation when they get high school will not change.
That's right.
That's good.
Alright. Alright, the next one is relatively similar. We had some other issues with this
I'm
one.
sorry, we were going with 2.
Grading period and expulsion or 2 suspensions.
Okay, we're still on the, student participation, we moved on.
Is
to
that an
student
and
participation.
or?
I think it's an and or.
It's an and
And or 2.
Suspension. Okay, this next one is the substance testing of athletes. So the first few pieces is about how quickly we inform folks. We were able to come to agreement on those. And I have that in my notes in my office, Ms. Canico. Basically notify the students' parents verbally within 24 hours. Send written notification by certified mail to the students' parents within 24 hours. Retain a copy of the results for a period of, we said 4 years here because the idea is they're probably going to be there for that time period. Notify the student within, we also said 24 hours there. We're notifying the parent and the student at the same time. If the parent wishes to contest the results of the test, the parent shall make a written appeal request to the principal within, we said 5 business days of that. That gives them more than enough time to
Stop, I don't know what that means.
That means, so if they want to appeal the drug screen, then they can appeal that, but then that's the initial test results, and they have to pay for a secondary test, which depending on the type of drug,
It'll be clear.
it might be null and void anyways, their appeal, because.
Are they gonna do a split sample?
So we're working right now to get a vendor about what the vendor we're wanting to go with, and it's not a specific vendor. The style of vendor is where they come with the urinalysis that literally at that moment tells you the presence of the different drugs.
Okay, it's a cut test.
Once they test, if they test positive on that, then we send it to the lab,
Split sample.
and you don't get the full results. Nothing happens to them until we get the full results back that can be verified, because people who've done drug screens know this.
Yep.
You can test positive on the initial sample, and then when they go for the full lab testing, it comes back negative.
What happens is they'll be taking a prescription medication or something else that will mask that symptom. The MRO, which is the medical review officer, will call that family and say, are you on any type of prescription medication or whatever? Are you on taking any medication? Are you taking any supplements? And the person, the patient will say, I'm taking X, Y, Z. What's your prescription number? And they'll know if it's a valid prescription number or not, and they'll say, agreed, this will mask those symptoms, and it'll become a negative test. However, if they don't have any backup documentation with that split sample, then it stays a positive.
Yeah.
That's how that works. But a send-off test, like Dr. Eloy said, it could be depending on the weekend, and when it gets shipped off, could be a 3 to 4 day delay.
Yeah.
And so that means they're out of action until that result comes back.
Yeah, they're not allowed to participate in sport until we get the second test.
Yeah.
But there's not punitive action in terms of suspension or anything like that until we get the official legal test back. If you go under first positive test result, the orange, it says if they have a first positive test result, it says be denied participation in interscholastic athletics. We went before the committee. The committee's suggestion was be denied participation in interscholastic athletics for the period until they are able to test negative. There are several districts that do this. In fact, it somewhat mirrors our personnel policy. We have personnel policy where, back in the day, you tested positive for a drug, you might just immediately be fired. And that sometimes is the case depending on the drug. There are policies, though, that actually allow us to work with an employee if it's in the right situation. If they're obviously on cocaine driving a bus, that's a different scenario. But if it's a position where they're not with kids, etc., we can work with them through recovery and things of that nature as long as they abide by a plan. We're talking about this similar thing with the students. So the first positive test would mean that they would be out until they can test negative. And we actually supply them with this. They have to get some counseling, etc. Now, if you look under second positive result.
Before we do that.
Yes, sir.
I just want to add something. So you look at THC, 72 hours pretty much is gone. So does that mean you test hot on Monday and you test negative on Friday and you're good to go to play Friday night?
No.
What does that mean?
They've actually, and I'm glad you said that because I missed a part. They said until they test negative, but the first time they're able to test negative is a 30-day period. So yeah, thank you for catching that.
Okay, so will there be follow-up after that too? Will there be randoms or something like
So yes, we're putting in place, in the handbook right now, we're putting together the procedures for all this. So it's kind of going hand in hand, but that one's a little bit behind what y'all are doing now. But it will be in the new student handbook for this year.
There's a lot of moving parts.
School if they test positive for a drug.
So it's interesting. It used to be, yes, that they were, actually it used to be you were expelled if you tested positive. Now the only time you're expelled for drugs is if you have them on hand. Now if you test positive for a drug, then that's a suspension because there was a ruling with
A suspension from school.
From school, but if you don't have it in hand, it's one of those weird legal gray areas where you tested positive, and you don't have anything, so what are we actually suspending for? Well, we're suspending you for being high on campus. But to Billy's point, technically you could have smoked it the other day and not been, so that's kind of the middle ground on that.
I think it looks, so the policy where if we're kicking them off the team with 2 suspensions, but you can fail a drug test and be right back on the team in 30 days. I just want to
Well,
make sure
they'd still be suspended. They would get a suspension.
Get that first suspension.
And to that point, if they have another one, then they would then they'd be kicked off the team. But they're off the team for at least 30 days.
So with this and the other policy, if a coach of a team, if he wants to be more or she wants to be more strict, they have that right.
I'm assuming if it's, or do they not? If they.
I would say no. Yeah, they haven't followed policy. So it's up to y'all if y'all want a stricter policy.
No, I got you. That's consistency.
Okay, so you'll see there's not orange under second positive results. There's no orange, but the team felt like we needed to amend this language. It says, if a student receives a second positive result within any 2 consecutive calendar years, the student shall permanently be denied the privilege of participation in interscholastic athletics sponsored by the district. So potentially, freshmen test positive in the fall, freshmen test positive in the next 30 days, they would have 4 years of not participating in sport. What the committee would like to change that to be is, if a student receives a second positive result within any 2 consecutive calendar years, the student shall be banned from participation in interscholastic athletics for the remainder of the school year. That was their suggestion.
I say this is.
Instead of, well,
Instead of-
yeah, they would like to change it to the remainder of that school year.
So they have a chance the next year, it doesn't hurt them for their 4 years.
Correct.
Yes.
They thought that was too punitive.
Well, you got a deal here. If a second positive test within any 2 consecutive calendar years, they're gonna be out the rest of the year, and then they come back another year. And so, it's got good and it's bad. Everyone keeps saying that's what keeps them in school, but you know what? I understand that, but they also have to have some personal responsibility with that too. But the downside to that is for someone to quit school and have a future and let it go away.
Well, we don't want to encourage drug use, obviously. We want to hold them accountable, but we also don't want to encourage dropout or
That's right.
things of that nature. And I'll be honest with y'all guys, with these 2 facilities opening up in Natchitoches here relatively soon, I think at least marijuana is going to become more ubiquitous in our community than it already is. So.
I think with that, they ought to, if they want to come back and play sport, they ought to get some kind of counseling and show that they've got some kind of counseling and then come back to sport, not just.
So would you like to put remainder of school year and proof of drug counseling to be provided at parents' expense before re-entry?
Yeah.
And
Because if they want to play sport or whatever, I think they would get counseling if they were that interested in playing sport.
So what we'll do,
Sound like you need counseling.
Yeah.
we'll update the board docs with all these changes we're putting in. But I would also encourage y'all to really kind of grapple with these policies over the next week. And if there's anything you want changed before next board meeting, I can put those in too over the next week. But me and Ms. Knief will put the updated with y'all's suggestions tonight for next week.
we need to have a minimum standard on this drug counseling too. Rather than going to an MD and they get a block saying he's had drug counseling here. There needs to be a minimum standard.
I'll talk to Jennifer Ingram tomorrow about what maybe the industry standard is and put some language in it about what actually is if we're going to define drug counseling, is that 6 weeks? Is that,
Something, I mean,
Online course, or 3
I
hours,
would
something.
imagine
Yeah.
get pretty pricey too, for some families that probably can't afford it. So
well, that's what, we'll see what we can offer through community services, and she'll have all the information.
We have some counselors down
Yeah.
it's gotta be effective. I mean, we're just going through the motions to get back in, it's not gonna work.
No, for sure.
Okay, so y'all understand why we wanted to get the full board's input on this?
I don't have anything else.
You sure?
No, I got something to say.
There's still one more spot on that one. Is it confidentiality of results?
Oh, that's within, that's 48 hours, I'm sorry. That's if they receive a subpoena for that. Okay, so this next document,
It just does that.
oh, you got,
Yeah, delay start.
Okay, so, I don't know why it's not showing up.
It's not a PDF, it's a.
Well, if you go down, Lee, go down to where it went to the downloads,
Okay.
and then it's right there. Right, oh, okay.
Well, then it wants to go to Outlook.
Yeah, see, yeah.
There we go. Okay, enlarge that for us. Okay, so you already voted in the, when we voted on calendar, there was a piece that said that we can have delayed start, but we have never done delayed start. And so what this really is you're voting on procedures for delayed start. And we put some consistencies in there in general about weather events. We will always make weather calls by 9 o'clock if it happens the night before. So by 9 o'clock, or if we wait till the next morning, which I am telling you now, we will always try not to do that because it's disruptive, by 5 a.m. That gives people more time, but we are always going to trend towards the 9 p.m.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, people appreciate that. If they know that by 9 o'clock this call is coming, that's
Yes. We will also, if we ever do a delayed start, for instance, I think this last time we did, the last time we had the weather event, we could have had a delayed start if we would have had all these procedures in place.
Right.
What we will always do is the only time that school will start on a delayed start is 10 a.m. If it starts at 12, that's too late. If it starts at 8, that's too early. 10 a.m., which means buses will roll at 8 a.m. We will never have a delayed start that does anything else other than that. We will inform by all the things we all normally do, all the Facebook, robocall, social media, blah, 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 all that stuff. This is an option we have to not lose instructional time. The reason we're doing this is we saw some examples statewide where they didn't have this in place and they needed it, and some relatively bad things happened because they didn't do it, and it was a mess. So it's not that we anticipate having to use this all the time, but we want it in place in case we have the option or the situation. So,
Good plan.
all right, are these job descriptions?
How many?
We have 200 pages of job descriptions for y'all.
And I did flip through them.
Good deal. So
You gonna read it for us?
No.
they are divided by department. You will see the consistency within them is there's 2 sections on everyone's. I think it's professionalism and some other
Right here.
It's
related responsibilities and personal qualities. These are just kind of boilerplate. What you will see after this, number one, some of these job descriptions that me and Ms. Page were talking, some of them, just because they had been there for so long, they hadn't been updated in a long time. So this puts everyone's job description being updated, which is important. And we're going to start doing this just like the salary schedule, where we make remediations every spring, so they'll always be updated. This also puts them all on the same standardized format, and this has been what, Ms. Page, a 1.5-year project?
We just got it done in the
Yeah, so, and now what's next from this is all of these will be converted into a format where they have columns. One column will be for their score, 1 to 5, just like the NIT. Another column will be for comments. And that way we will have a standardized system for evaluating all employees district-wide in a standardized way. Now,
This is our criteria.
yes, now, so it'll be based on all, like if you have 20 things, you'll get evaluated on those 20 things. Everyone will get it on the personal qualities and, related responsibilities. But so it's standardized, but also differentiated. Like Ms. Lacaz and Ms. Rachel, I'm just picking on them because they're still here. They will have a standardized evaluation, but because they have 2 different jobs, it will be differentiated based on their job duties.
And one of the things I liked about this is that it shows everybody who they report to.
Yes.
That's, except, I think I saw one or two that.
If you,
skipped that.
so we already found some minor things that we're gonna update this week. If you found anything that you, just like that, minor stuff or major stuff, please email us. Because as you would imagine, this is like a dissertation level document in length. There's probably some little things here and there, but we would love to have an extra set of 11 eyes on it for this. Some job description title changes to streamline some things. If y'all recall, we also had 2 previous positions that are currently vacant. We changed some of those job duties to reflect some changes we want to make. But other than that, nothing crazy.
Unless you find something that you want to pull out next Tuesday, we're going to probably take this in Globo.
I was hoping it would be in Globo. But seriously, shoot me a text, shoot me an email about anything y'all find that, it could even be like, hey, there needs to be a period somewhere.
Did you say these were all going on the portal?
Yeah, those are all.
These are already on the portal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone can access this right now. It's on the public portal. And I want to, thank all the directors, because we gave each section to the directors to do. And then also, Ms. Ramona helped with Ms. Widener worked with put them all together in one area. So it was a lot of people, literally every person on the superintendent's cabinet, as we like to call it, had hands on this. So
I think that completes my report.
Okay, before we shoot out of here, board members, if you're having email problems, please get with Mr. Cozad. What you got?
I was actually just going to say, so some Microsoft changed some security policies, and we had to adopt that at the district level to stay in line with them. So whereas you all were exempt from multi-factor for a while, it's now being forced on you. If you find that you get your emails as soon as you're on a school, but when you go home you don't have your emails, please bring your iPad and your phone you want to use for multi-factor. Swing by the technology window, hit the doorbell, and we will help you and get that set up and get you all squared away.
I think you've already had a few customers today, right?
Yes. I can't even remember. It's been so many people. I think Ms. Phelps came by today. Was it today?
Guys, we're not done yet. We've got, please get your email fixed. I sent out today with the Senate Bill 313 employee, the education savings accounts. LSBA has asked us call to action as of yesterday to start emailing Senator Seabaugh and all the other senators in central Louisiana, telling them to not vote for Senate Bill 313 because we all know why. But the big thing here is, guys, we need to have these emails up. I also sent you a declaration that was sent to us by Liz Merle's office with the Attorney General's office. We have the opportunity to participate in that lawsuit to overturn the 1972 Title IX, the extension of the rules which allows males to go and use female locker rooms because they now declare themselves as females. And so it's good, I guess, to be in that world, but no. The anything, we have to, the resolution just got us into the lawsuit. We have to put a declaration together and vote on it next Tuesday night to actually get it in. We're going to miss the deadline, which is May 9th, but when they revise it, we will be included. They've also found some problems within their declaration. They sent me a email after this meeting started, and there's a number of footnotes. I'm going to send that out to the board to let you know that there's going to be some changes within that declaration I sent you earlier. So let's get those emails fixed. Senator Seabaugh's office, Ms. Gentry, responded, thanking me for the correspondence. I think we all know that there's a lot more pressing situations such as mental health counseling, MFP, things like that the state of Louisiana can spend money on rather than educational savings accounts. So we need your help there. One more thing. I just want to say thank you to all the faculty and staff of the Niagara Parish School Board for this year. And this has been an outstanding year. This is our third outstanding year. You know, we've got so many employees that reach out every day without any kind of recognition, and they do their jobs, and they do it for kids, just like Miss Kaufman. You know, she wanted no recognition whatsoever. But everyone here does what they're supposed to do, and, you know, can we get better? Absolutely. Do we make mistakes? We do. We drop the ball. All of us do. Even the board does. But if you need to look at the total body of work of what we've done in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been incredible. And how we move the needle and raise the bar for us. So I want everyone in the public that's listening and everyone in the audience to understand, as a board, we ask each other a lot of times, what can we do to be better? And we're serious about improvement too. You know, we don't get evaluated, but by the public. We get evaluated every day. All you have to do is look at Facebook sometimes. It's a good thing Tompkins is not there anymore. But anyway, you know, we need to do everything that we possibly can to reduce errors and do the things that move us forward. You know, look at what Ms. Pinckney's done and, you know, Mr. Stewart this year with their programs. It's just amazing. Solve problems, improve ourselves. Do we have issues? Yeah. Lee Wascom brought out one today where we're X and O's and drawing lines and trigrams for benefits. That shouldn't happen. That should not happen. We should be, and we're in the computer age, that we should be able to do this and do it smoothly. So again, I think I speak for the board to thank all employees within the Niagara Fair School Board for another outstanding year. We're entering that graduation phase. That doesn't end school, but it gets us a little bit closer toward the end of school. And I just want to thank the board for all what we do too, and the support that you give the employees and all of the students in Niagara Fair. So thank you. And board members, anything y'all like to add?
I know many of y'all need tickets for Central's graduation. The printer hasn't got those back to us yet, but by the end of the week, we'll be able to get those to y'all.
If I may, please fill out your personal disclosure forms, get them back to me before May 15th. Before May 15th.
And get your case.
Hey, you want to take them tonight? We'll be back from.
All right, Jay.